She was certain that something had been off ever since that moment. With a hint of concern in her voice, she gently asked Haisu, "Could you step out for just an hour and then return?" Wondered aloud why, since he was just going to keep talking in the room regardless. She asked if she could stay, her voice filled with hope, but was quickly cut off with a firm reply, "No, you'd only be a distraction." He noticed something strange was going on, but he felt they couldn't possibly carry it out in a place like this, Felt overwhelmed with despair, realizing that all his hard work to avoid the Ajumma was about to be ruined. The frustration and helplessness overwhelmed him. And he couldn't hold back his anguish. The man called out urgently, his voice trembling with concern, "Auntie, wait." "What's wrong, Jiwon?" He felt an urgent need to stop her. He laughed nervously, struggling to find the right words. The woman, feeling exhausted and overwhelmed, softly pleaded, "Auntie, do you think we could call it a day and head home now?" She asked Jiwon, "Weren't you just doing that by yourself in your room a moment ago?" with a hint of surprise and curiosity in her voice. He wondered aloud, "Why is it that you've never acted this way before?" "I'm truly surprised and concerned about this sudden change in you." Jiwon was overwhelmed with emotion, her voice trembling as she pleaded, "Please, don't tell me." Hesitated for a moment before softly explaining, "What I mean is." He hesitated, knowing that if he simply voiced his feelings, everything might change forever, and there would be no turning back from that moment. Sighed deeply, contemplating the risky actions he was about to take. His mind was filled with anxiety and dread, especially at the thought of her discovering what he had done with his aunt. The weight of his secrets weighed heavily on his heart, and he wondered what consequences awaited him if the truth ever came to light. He couldn't help but feel a surge of disappointment when he thought about all the things she did throughout the day, which seemed so insignificant in comparison to what she had done. Wished she could convince him with greater maturity, longing for a more thoughtful and sincere approach. He hesitated, then confessed, he believed he could trust her, but he needed her to prove it, to truly earn his trust. Had been avoiding her for so long, desperately trying to resist her pull, feeling a mix of guilt and longing that he couldn't quite escape. He thought to himself that if he ever found himself kissing Ajumma once more, he would. She asked if Jiwon had truly missed the Ajumma, her voice tinged with surprise and curiosity. He wasn't sure if he would be able to escape this time, feeling a mixture of hope and fear gnawing at him. Confessed that it had been incredibly difficult to keep his feelings inside. Deeply missed her. She noticed the footprints guiding her to this spot, yet a sense of uncertainty and curiosity filled her mind. She wondered anxiously about where those two had gone, feeling a mix of concern and curiosity gnawing at her. Jiwon was startled when she didn't see Kwon Haisu. Her eyes widened in surprise and confusion, exclaiming, "What the hell is going on?" They wondered aloud with a mix of hope and disbelief, could they truly be inside here? Han Jiwon called out desperately, "Han Jiwon! Han Jiwon! I believe, that's Aunt Kyunga." Cha Kyunga felt his heart ache when he saw that. He thought to himself, "Why is it like this?" and was filled with sorrow and confusion. Jiwon was calling out desperately, her voice filled with worry and longing, begging to know where he was. He was stunned and unable to believe what he saw. With a mixture of shock and disappointment, he muttered to himself, "Is this really the end?" She wondered aloud how far they had traveled at such a late hour, her voice tinged with a mix of concern and curiosity. The girl whispered softly to him, pleading with tender affection, "Shoo. Hey Ajushi, let's stay like this, just for a little while." She wondered where she might have gone, for the footprints ended abruptly at this spot, leaving a lingering sense of mystery and unease. Wondered if she should return to the house, her heart filled with uncertainty and hesitation. He had traveled so far, only to realize that it was all in vain. Kwon Haiso, she thought, Auntie left already. She admitted that she knew, and deep down, she almost hoped they would get caught. Laughed and said, "What? I'm only joking around." He asked for a moment to himself, hoping to confirm whether his aunt had truly gone. He felt a mix of anticipation and uncertainty. Gently reminded her, "You're making too much noise, we could easily get discovered." She tried to reassure himself, saying, "Don't worry about her, But deep down, she couldn't quite shake the feeling of concern and uncertainty. Told him not to worry about the other man and to pay attention to her instead. With a nervous laugh, she stammered, Ajumma, but..." She gently reassured him, saying, "Don't worry, Ajumma will help you concentrate." Asked Jiwon where he had gone the previous night, her voice filled with worry and frustration as she told him how long she had been searching for him. He wondered if Haisu had any idea about what they had been up to, feeling a mixture of anxiety and anticipation about whether she might discover their secret. Believed that, in some way, things had turned out positively, though he wasn't entirely sure. He felt a wave of relief wash over him, thinking, thank goodness we weren't caught, I was really scared. Aunt! She whispered softly, ah. Yunbil has arrived. Wondered in disbelief, how is it possible that you still haven't rented a surfboard? She explained that her fear stemmed from being terrified to venture into the deep part of the water. Haisu nodded hesitantly, feeling a mix of anticipation and nervousness as she watched her friends prepare to head out for surfing with Jiwon. She thought to herself, it's okay to wait here for a while, and wondered if it was alright with her to just stay behind while everyone else enjoyed the waves together. His mother hesitated for a moment before finally saying, then go ahead and do as you wish. What am I supposed to do when you're so frightened? His heart sank as he listened, feeling a mix of helplessness and concern for her fear. They decided that the two of them could enjoy playing together while we relaxed and surfed the waves, feeling happy to see them having fun. Yunbil was eager to start their adventure. She cheerfully exclaimed, come on, let's go. She begged her mother to wait for her, her voice trembling with desperation. She pleaded, please don't leave me behind, Mom. Wondered what that look on his face had meant a moment ago, feeling a surge of curiosity and confusion. She couldn't believe what she was experiencing. She was certain she had one, yet an inexplicable emptiness gnawed at her, making her feel like she had lost everything. Confused and overwhelmed by this strange sensation, she wondered why victory still left her with such a bitter feeling. He hesitated, asking softly, Auntie, would you like me to put more sand over you? Said that if she needed more, she should just tell him, He wondered if there was something he was unaware of. He couldn't shake off the feeling of indifference, and a sense of unease crept over him. The receptionist asked her what her name was on her reservation, looking eager, wanting to help her. Yoon Young he asked if there were 2 adults, confirming the number with a hint of curiosity. She said that she and her daughter were about to rest here, feeling a deep sense of comfort and closeness. She wondered aloud why he was just sitting there, a hint of frustration and concern in her voice. He admitted that he was feeling quite anxious at that moment. He tried to reassure himself, saying there was no reason to be nervous, but inside, he couldn't help feeling a bit overwhelmed. She asked if he was familiar with the rules, his voice tinged with a hint of concern and urgency. He exclaimed in disbelief, no, Ajum, wait, that can't be correct. She nodded with a gentle smile, her voice soft and encouraging. That's right, good boy. Now, just take a deep breath and stay calm. With a gentle smile, she responded, all right, my dear, go ahead and eat as much as you like. Her voice was filled with warmth and understanding, showing her unconditional love and patience. She said she was utterly drained, explaining that it had been ages since she last did this, and it was truly taking a toll on her. He wondered aloud where his aunt was and if she had gone away by herself, his voice tinged with concern. She realized she had left something behind, so she hurried back to the car with a sense of urgency and a touch of frustration. He asked with surprise if he truly cared for their mother so deeply. She told her not to be ridiculous, saying that she had been observing her closely, noticing how she kept gazing at their mother the entire time. She hesitated, feeling caught off guard, and asked if she still remembered the day they had visited the beach together, a moment filled with so much joy and nostalgia that it lingered vividly in his mind. She asked with disbelief, do you honestly believe you could be my appa? Said that she could never accept someone like him in her life, even if it meant dying. She was firm and full of anguish. Yunbil felt overwhelmed and upset. She confessed that she didn't enjoy spending time with her appa because she didn't appreciate being comforted by him in that way. Feeling overwhelmed by her emotions, she had run away into the forest, seeking refuge and solitude. She secretly slipped behind a tree, hoping you wouldn't notice, feeling a mix of nervousness and excitement inside her. Yunbil was so worried, he kept calling out, Yunbil. Yunbil, where have you disappeared to? His heart pounded with anxiety as he desperately searched for his beloved friend. She thought that he would likely come looking for her and return home shortly, feeling a mix of hope and anticipation. On that day, he ventured deep into the forest solely to search for me, and I couldn't help but feel overwhelmed by his unwavering determination and heartfelt effort. He was only a young boy in elementary school when he wandered into the forest, and now, he still hasn't returned. Is he truly still missing? She said that darkness was approaching quickly, and if anything were to happen to her, it would be truly devastating. My mom kept calling someone, overwhelmed with worry, and the adults hurried into the forest searching desperately for you. It was utter chaos, and I could feel the fear and anxiety gripping everyone. Looking back, I realize it was just a young elementary school child lost alone in the woods. Jiwon. One day, an older woman searched tirelessly, and after a long, anxious day and a restless night, she finally discovered where you were. She was deeply worried and gently asked if he was alright, hoping he hadn't been badly injured anywhere. Her voice trembled with concern as she noticed how cold his body felt. Fearing he might be in danger. He said that he had been covered in blood, most likely because he had wandered off into the forest and ended up with countless scratches from the branches. She wondered why he had traveled all this way, feeling a deep sense of concern and relief when he finally arrived. He admitted that, honestly, he had been genuinely terrified during that moment. She believed he was going to reveal the truth to their mother, and she feared that the adults would harshly punish her. I was deeply stunned when she learned that I had been injured because of her, and a wave of remorse overwhelmed her. She knew she couldn't avoid the repercussions of her actions and felt a heavy sense of regret for what had happened. She couldn't believe what she was hearing. He had actually gotten lost while trying to catch stag beetles. I hesitated before softly saying that she was sorry, expressing relief that he hadn't betrayed her or ever spoken her name, which meant a lot to her. She said that was the reason she had asked him afterwards why he had done that. I thanked him and asked with a hint of concern why he hadn't mentioned that he got lost while trying to find her. He hesitated, then softly explained that he didn't want to do anything that might cause the Ajumma to feel anxious or upset. She believed that they shared a strained and difficult relationship, feeling upset and worried about how things had become so tense between them. Couldn't believe it when she heard his reaction. She wondered why he hadn't spoken up earlier, fearing that if the older woman became anxious, it might cause unnecessary trouble. Her heart was a mix of surprise and concern, wishing he had shared his thoughts sooner to avoid any unnecessary worry. He admitted that he would also feel sad. He recalled that it was around that time that he first began to have faint thoughts about it. As Appa grew older, those feelings became even more profound, filling his heart with a mixture of nostalgia and melancholy. Realized that he might eventually develop feelings for his mother, and the thought filled him with a strange mix of curiosity and apprehension. She asked softly, "Does Appa have feelings for Mom?" She didn't speak as a mother, but rather as a woman who deeply cherished and enjoyed the moment. The woman looked at him with surprise and confusion, exclaiming, "Ajumma. What the?" Her voice trembled with shock and disbelief as she tried to comprehend what she was witnessing. She wondered why it wouldn't open and questioned if it was broken. Of all moments, why did it have to happen now, right in the middle of the vacation?